Greetings. In today's episode of Kip's Corner, I'll be presenting an introduction to the Jedi path from my perspective. This will be the first in my new series of educational videos on Jediism. I hope that you find it insightful, helpful, or at least entertaining. What is the Jedi path anyway? It is a modern universal path which incorporates not only philosophies and ideals from the Star Wars mythos, but also builds on the same common threads of world religions and philosophy from which the Jedi were created in the first place, and then some, in a way that is practically applicable to everyday life. The Jedi path can also be a fun approach to spirituality and seeking truth as you learn and grow. The Jedi path exists in a variety of forms, and as such is more of a spectrum than black and white categories or denominations like Christianity, for example. While there are a variety of different versions of Jedi doctrine, in general, we all follow at least the same basic principles, ideals, and truths. Most generally, real-world Jedi fall into one of two primary categories: the path of the Jedi realist, from which it is usually approached philosophically, and the path of Jediism, from which it is usually approached from a perspective of spirituality or even religion. For the purposes of this and future videos here at Kip's Corner, we will be approaching the Jedi path from the perspective of Jediism as a religion. If you would also like to explore the Jedi realist path, there are many other YouTubers out there who can explain that perspective far better than I can. Or if you would rather learn more directly about the Jedi realist path, you can seek out the International Jedi Federation, for example. Jediism as a spiritual or religious path is based in part on acknowledgement of the Force and its various aspects, which is similar to other spiritual energies described in other religious paths throughout history, and the observation of this ubiquitous energy which we believe to be the underlying fundamental nature of reality. As such, we don't rely strictly on blind faith in our spiritual beliefs, but we also include observation of scientifically supported perspectives. As a brief and oversimplified example, we will look at the three primary aspects of the Force through the lens of science. The cosmic force encompasses all of the cosmos, defining and balancing the very structure of the known universe itself. As Obi-Wan said in the mythos, it binds the galaxy together. The cosmic force interacts directly with matter and energy through the fundamental laws of physics, which we are all familiar with. The living force, by contrast, encompasses all living things. Another way to view the living force could be as the wellspring of life itself. It is the very energy which makes up and connects all living things, and in turn is renewed and created by all life. Life creates it, makes it grow. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. The unifying force is what ties it all together through quantum physics and other areas of science we've only begun to study. In the mythos even, Qui-Gon hints at the concept of the power of the mind over quantum entanglement when he says, "Your focus determines your reality." In quantum physics, it's been proven that observing, focusing on something affects the outcome. Jediism also has deep roots in the common threads of philosophy and world religion, going all the way back to the time before the recorded history we have, which inspired and are similar to those presented in the Star Wars mythos. It is a universal religion in and of itself, and in many ways, although they didn't call themselves Jedi, the followers of that primordial religion which came about in the antediluvian world before the cataclysm at the end of the Younger Dryas were likely very much what we would consider to be Jedi today. The Jedi religion is also an inspirational path of self-improvement as well as a way to improve the world around us in small ways, and serves as a way of life for many people throughout the world who take on the mantle of Jedi. And we apply these principles, ideals, philosophies, and the teachings of Jediism in a practical manner within our day-to-day lives. Real Jedi don't worship Lucas or believe we can actually move things with our minds or anything of that sort. But we do believe in and follow the Force itself, which is the same concept of spiritual energy shared across many religions and cultures. We just do it from our own unique perspective. Jediism also blends spirituality, philosophy, and fun. As we accept various myths alongside the Star Wars mythos as a sometimes more practical means of conveying philosophies akin to parables, which are applicable to real life. The fictional stories can be seen as these parables and moral lessons, which may be applied in our everyday lives, just as the myths and legends of countless other religions and philosophies do for countless other people around the world, all the way back to the beginning of humanity. That being said, we don't necessarily see the stories in the Star Wars mythos as having actually happened, but they do provide great parables and moral lessons when applied correctly. At its simplest form, Jediism is a modern, fun approach to spirituality, balance, and self-improvement on a never-ending journey of learning and growth. Until next time, may the Force be with you, always.